Guys, I look at the game coming up Saturday, Miami heading to the Swamp to play Florida. Hurricanes are 2.5-point favorites on the road. They are ranked number 19. Florida is unranked. However, I am respectful of that particular stadium. The Florida Gators, in fact, have won 33 consecutive home openers at the Swamp. Now, a lot of those have been against FCS and non-Power 5 teams. They don't always open up against ranked opposition, but it's been a very, very long time since they've dropped an opening game. I think 1989 was the last time they dropped one there. So that's going to be something for Miami to deal with. You also have the question of a lot of new faces on the Hurricane side. Florida has more continuity, but a lot of those players went 5-7 last year. They have bolstered certain areas of their team, though. Grayson, I'll start with you on this one. Miami is favored heading into this game. There's a lot of reasons why the Hurricanes should win, but Miami's been unpredictable, as we all know, in recent years. And first game of the season, as Brian Smith well knows, first game of the season can often be unpredictable.
I think this game's going to be absolute chaos. I think there's going to be a lot of nonsense, a lot of tomfoolery. To be honest with you, I don't really have a good read on this. Of course, the urgency is going to have to be there for Miami. They have all these new toys. The heat is already kind of on Mario Cristobal. Can they get it done this year? I would lean Miami in this one. I think just on paper, they have a lot more talent than Florida does, but Florida has they got some questions to answer themselves. I'm interested to see what Graham Mertz will look like this season. I've seen Brandon Olson from Locked On Gators doing some chirping with you, Dono. I think this will be a really fun watch. I would lean Miami if I had to pick one, but I also see a world where the Gators could play to their advantage in the Swamp.
Yeah, I've been text messaging Brandon Olson from Locked On Gators all week, just talking trash. But the crazy thing is, every time I watch Locked On Gators, he's talking about how terrible his team is, and yet he's got Florida by 1 million this week. It's crazy. Brian, I'd love your take. You and I, we talk a lot about Miami and what they've done at the line of scrimmage. You have Ruben Bain, of course, at defensive end. But even if Florida gives Bain extra attention, Miami also has Akeem Mesidor, who's probably been the standout player throughout training camp. They added Tyler Barron, who's faced Florida before. He used to play at Tennessee. Elijah Alston from Marshall was a very good pass rusher in the group of 5. Do you think Miami is going to have the edge in the trenches?
I think not only will they have the edge in the trenches, I actually asked Brandon Olson a little bit ago, how's the pass blocking going to go when Montrell's probably not going to play at running back? They don't have any experience at running back, so they got to worry about that if you keep a running back in. And if you let somebody else come in, you got a tight end blocking. It's one less guy in the pass routes. I think they're going to struggle with the pass game at points because Miami's front 7. Kiko Maligoa had 7.5 sacks last year. Him and Bain were the top guys. They have guys from everywhere. And I personally think that'll be the biggest reason that Miami has an edge. They're just better in their front 7 and consistently so, in my opinion, than what UF is.
Jackson, what do you think about how this is going to play out Saturday?
I think it's very similar to what Grayson is saying right now. So Syracuse is also playing at 3:30 in this one. So I'm going to have a split screen going on. I'm just going to be eating popcorn. All right. I think there is going to be a lot of nonsense. I'm not going to be. How many times are we going to say, what was that call? Right. This is going to be one of those games with the referees. There's going to be a few fumbles where the ball's bouncing around everywhere. We have no idea what's going on. And there's going to be 90,000 streaming Florida fans. Yeah. I think Miami is the better team on paper, but only a 2.5 point spread. Florida at home. That's a tasty line right there. I'm not here to give betting advice here, but that's tasty.
I'm just here to give bad betting advice is usually my role. But, Kenton Gibbs,
I am one of the historic all-time bettors in my head. But as soon as I hit that betting button, I'm terrible. I can't hit a single bet for my life. But in my head, I always win.
Kenton Gibbs, I'll give you the last word. Miami at Florida.
I've got tomfoolery. I've got nonsense. I've got fumbles. I've got turnovers. I've got the refs. But one team's got Cam Ward. Then what are we doing here? I'm sorry to tell you, Ruben Hurricane Bain is better than any single player that the Florida Gators offense can bring to block him. Players were leaving that Florida program there was an exodus from that Florida program that people seem to have forgotten. I don't know. Like, don't get me wrong. I get it. Gainesville is different. The swamp hits different. Lots of folks show up. They get loud. They get rowdy. All that good stuff. None of them are wearing the damn helmet. None of them are going to get out there and chip block Isadora. None of them are going to get out there and block Kiko. I am sorry to tell you, games are won in the trenches. And sometimes on paper, we look at you and we say, you're supposed to be really good, and you lie to us. Brian Smith and his boys know all about that. But I'll tell you what. If we come on this show Monday saying Dono's boys lied too, I would be shocked and appalled, because Florida right now, their coach, he might be on the squad next year. Don't worry about it, Billy Napier. Yeah. We got a good landing spot for you at Locked On. I don't think you're going to make it through November with all those games y'all got. But you can come on here right with us, Billy. I got you. Scared money don't make no money. And Locked On ACC going to have more than some scared money for you.